Hi, this is Austin. Welcome to my channel. If you have ever feel your motivation to keep investing slowly fades, you're not alone. This is one of the most common experiences investors go through, especially after the initial excitement wears off. There are long stretches where the market feels quiet, progress seems invisible, and it's hard to feel encouraged by what you are doing. Over time, I have learned that losing motivation doesn't mean you are failing or making mistakes. It simply means you are experiencing the reality of the long-term investing. In this video, I want to honestly talk about what to do when motivation disappears and how to force it back. Because staying invested has far less to do with how you inspire you feel, and much more to do with how you build your habits and mindset. For most investors, motivation fades because progress doesn't feel the way they expected it to. In the beginning, everything feels new and exciting, but over time, the excitement is replaced by long periods of silence. The market doesn't move much, results are obvious, and there's little emotional feedback to keep you engaged. On top of that, daily life continues, priorities shift, and investing slowly moves to the background. None of this means something is wrong. It's simply how long-term investing works. The problem is that many people confuse this quiet phase with failure, when in reality it's just a stage where patience starts to matter more than enthusiasm. The problem with relying on motivation is that it was never decided to last. Motivation is emotional, reactive, and heavily influenced by short-term results. When things are going well, motivation feels effortless. But when the progress slows or uncertainty appears, it disappears just as quickly. I learned this the hard way. There were times when I feel highly motivated and invested confidently, and other times when that feeling vanished and everything felt harder than it needed to be. Over time, I realized that motivation isn't something you can build on long-term strategy on. If your investing depends on how inspired you feel, it becomes fragile. Long-term success comes from systems and habits that continue working even when motivation is gone. One of the most important mindset shifts I had to make was letting go of the expectation that investing should feel rewarding in the moment. We are used to effort leading to immediate feedback, but investing doesn't work that way. Most of the time, doing the right thing feels quiet, uneventful, and sometimes even disappointing. There are months where nothing seems to happen, and that lack of feedback can slowly drain motivation. I had to remind myself that this silence isn't a sign of the strategy is broken. It's a sign that it's working as intended. Long-term investing rewards patience, not excitement. When I stopped expecting investing to constantly feel good, it became much easier to stay consistent without forcing motivation. When motivation starts to fade, one of the most helpful shifts is focusing on inputs instead of outcomes. Outcomes like the returns, portfolio value, market direction are largely out of your control and often change in ways that feel discouraging in the short term. Inputs, on the other hand, are things you can control every single month. Consistent contributions, staying invested, and sticking to a simple plan don't depend on how the market behaves. When I start judging my progress by short-term results and started measuring by whether I follow my process, investing feels much lighter. Even during periods when nothing seemed to improve, I could still say I was doing my part. That sense of control helped me stay consistent when motivation wasn't there. Another reason motivation disappears is because the journey starts to feel overwhelming. Thinking about investing for decades, retirement goals, or large future numbers can quietly drain your energy. When everything feels too far away, it becomes hard to care about what you are doing today. When I notice this happening, I deliberately make the process smaller. Instead of focusing on the next 10 or 20 years, I focus on the next contributions, the next months, or simply stick to my plan until the next review point. Long-term investing doesn't require constant big picture thinking. Sometimes, staying invested is as simple as showing up one small step at a time. Making the process smaller helps motivation recovery naturally without pressure. When motivation is low, consuming more investing content often makes things worse, not better. Market opinions, predictions, and constant updates can amplify doubts and create a feeling that you are missing something important. I have learned that during this period, the best move is to reduce noise rather than add more information. Less news, fewer opinions, and fewer comparisons help quiet the mental pressure that drains motivation. When I step back from noises, I'm better able to reconnect with my original plan and remember why I started investing in the first place. Reducing noises doesn't mean disengaging completely, it means protecting your focus so uncertainty doesn't turn into unnecessary stress. When my own motivation drops, I don't try to force it back or fix how I feel. Instead, I rely on the system I have already put in place. I let my investments continue automatically, I check my portfolio lens, and I give myself permission to mentally step away for a while. I remind myself that I don't need to feel motivated to keep making progress. I just need to avoid doing anything that would interrupt it. Sometimes the best action is doing nothing at all. By trusting the process and letting the time work in the background, I allow motivation to return naturally instead of chasing it. This approach had helped me to stay invested through periods where emotions were quiet or uncertain. If you're watching this and feeling stuck, tired, or unsure where you should keep going, I want you to know that this phase is more common than you think. It doesn't mean you are behind, and it doesn't mean you are failed. It simply means you have moved past the excitement phase and into the part of investing where discipline matters more than emotion. You don't need to make big changes right now, and you don't need to find new motivation overnight. Sometimes the most important thing you can do is stay where you are, keep your plan intact, and give yourself time. Progress doesn't always feel encouraging in the moment, but staying invested during this quiet period is often what makes the biggest difference later on. Over time, I have come to understand that motivation is not a requirement for long-term investing success. Motivation is helpful when it's there, but it's unreliable by nature, and it was never meant to carry you through years of consistency. What truly matters is having a simple system, clear expectations, and the discipline to stay invested when nothing feels exciting. You don't need to feel inspired to make progress, you just need to avoid breaking the process that's already working. If you can stay steady during the moments when motivation fades, you're already doing something most people never manage to do. And in the long run, the quiet consistency is often what leads to the results everyone else is chasing. Thanks for watching. I'm Austin, and see you next week.